War II airplanes that were flown out of Foga, Italy are pictured here behind me. And a little bit of this story is my father-in-law, Bud Stadler, down here, is next to his friend, Jeff Scott, both from Batavia. This is before he enlisted in the military. And they're out hunting pheasant. But these guys both went to flight school together and both worked in the same crew together. Now, Jeff eventually died in the war. So my father-in-law named both of his two boys, one Jeff and one Scott, in honor of him. Here's a picture of Jeff standing by the two motors of the Flying Fortress that my father-in-law flew. And then here's another picture of him right here by a Spitfire. That's a single-man airplane. And here he's standing next to a Constellation II. Also, here is the last picture of him taxiing out his own airplane for a test run. Now, this is Foga, Italy. Here's the air base right here. You see two different types of military transports. These two are not bombers. They have eventually became a very popular transportation airplane after the war. And then also here you see captured 3 German planes. This is one photograph of it, and with the tanker. This is after they get them to Foga, they take them apart to see if they can learn more about them. My father-in-law said the only thing that they learned about them was that their bulletproofing was on the cockpit was better. Now, this is my father-in-law's brand new Flying Fortress that he was issued. After he flew 26 missions, he got reassigned to a brand new Flying Fortress. And I did mention that he's the squadron commander. Take a look here on the ground. This is the airstrip out of the cockpit at Foga. And look at this line of brand new Spitfires that were just delivered. There's 9 of them right in a row there. You see they're shiny. Here's the entire airfield here. And Foga, Italy was a major point where we bombed Germany, we bombed Austria, we bombed Yugoslavia out of there. Now, right here, you see a downed German, what is called a jet plane. Now, they went back and retrieved that. Over here again is another Flying Fortress. And then here's Jeff Scott again, firing up a Spitfire. Now this is the only airplane I've never been able to identify in any book. I don't even know if it's American or German. We're also talking about Bud Stadler. That's his name. His name was Ralph K. Stadler. But when he came back, he met this beautiful woman here, Marilyn. And at that point, Marilyn Millham had just won a reign as the 4th of July Queen. And before that, also in the article, she was named the most popular girl in the city of Aurora, Illinois at that time. So this is also his papers showing that he was in the United States Army. Back then, there was no United States Air Force. All the planes were flown by Army personnel. And then also you can see a picture of his railroad training stamp. Now, he was working on the railroad before he enlisted, and they automatically took him back and gave him credit for the years. This is a picture of him on his boat that I have in the garage. And also here is a picture of him in his full major uniform. Also here I have a letter that he sent when he was overseas. And at the bottom of it here, he says, by the way, I can tell you the number, how many missions I have now. It's 33 with 17 to go. That's a huge amount of missions for anybody to fly. Also here, there's this book called about his squadron. And here's his name right here, Second Lieutenant Ralph K. Stadler. I'd like to show you the front of the book also. It's called the 775 Bomb Squad and the 463 Bomb Group. This documents all of the flights that were taken out of Foga. And this shows Italy. Here's the boot coming down. And how strategically located it was. It was able to go in and bomb Yugoslavia, Australia, go back to Germany and bomb. It was just in a very central location. And because of the Baltic Sea right here, it was real hard for the enemies to come back and raid on them. Also, they had a huge amount of searchlights set up. So if there was a night raid, well, I'm not going to go through the entire book, but I just thought I'd show you that a little bit. Now I have a new group of photos posted here. Here's Greg Scott next to an unidentified airplane. And this is Bud and Greg Scott's dad. This is in Batavia, Illinois. Now here is Greg Scott in a Flying Fortress. Eventually, he gets his own airplane and dies in the war in 1944. Also, this is the building. If you notice, you see the Statue of Liberty here and two propellers from two junked airplanes. These are bombs that were retrieved from a German airplane that I told you they brought several back. That was one of their missions. Take a look here. Is another brand new Flying Fortress just being delivered. If you notice, near the end of the war, they weren't painting these anymore because they needed to get them into production. You see the old one here in this photograph, and you see the brand new one in silver. Now, part of what we had supremacy over is we had radar, so we could see when other planes were coming towards us. These are very primitive trucks that were set up with these 4 antennas that could detect anybody coming into their airport. Over here again is the predecessor to the DC-10. It eventually became the airplane of transport for people in America. Also here, this is another German captured airplane. You can see the superior bulletproofing capsules. Instead of round, they went with solid 2-inch thick plexiglass. Now, the last photo I'd like to show you here is that they found this photo in one of the German wrecks, and it shows 2 German officers in Paris, France, when they were occupying the country. And thank you very much for seeing a little bit about World War II and these lost photographs. Thank you. Okay.